And I'm currently part of the Z-squared cohort in Bristol, which is an amazing cohort of startups. And I also have a couple of other jobs in marketing, but they have nothing to do with NoCode. And I used to be an international lawyer for many years. And don't worry, I won't bore you with a lot of legalese today. But what I will mention is that being a lawyer has been a huge part of why I chose to build a Tradetech startup. So I got made redundant just at the end of September of 2022. And I thought, this is the perfect time to build something of my own. But with a somewhat different target audience. With legal tech, your audience is lawyers or in-house lawyers or people that Chuck works with. And what legal tech usually offers is that it streamlines operations, or in cases of generative AI startups, it can even help generate legal advice. On the other hand, what Tradetech does is that it helps address the challenges associated with international trade and alleviating the headaches associated with compliance. So as I was an international lawyer for a company with a major international presence, I had the expertise to address these issues. And yeah, but why? Why did I decide to address these issues in the first place? Well, unfortunately, the answer to that is Brexit. And don't worry, I'm not going to go into all of that. But what I will say is that after Brexit, Brexit has completely shocked the industry, international trade industry, and lots of businesses are feeling the pain to this day because of the new legal challenges and technical challenges. And to add to that, the British government has very helpfully introduced a digital transformation initiative for international trade compliance. So simply put, what they've done is that they completely scrapped the 30-year-old customs compliance system and replaced it with a brand new one. And what they did as well is that they put it on the private sector's shoulders to build the solutions that integrate with this existing system. So the businesses have to pay for that, which is, well, they did what they did. But why did I choose NoCode to build this? Well, as a lawyer by trade, didn't know anything about coding, and I realized that NoCode was the best way to do this, the quickest way. It allowed a quick deployment, and plus it allowed me to build a solution that's tech agnostic and industry agnostic. So any user from any industry who has a web browser can use it. And so let's get to the techie bits of what I'm offering. I'm offering several solutions within my SaaS. The first one, it allows businesses to submit customs declarations directly to the HMRC through my software. And so because of the way the new HMRC system is structured, businesses who sell abroad using freight transport specifically have to invest in private sector produced solutions like the one I built. So I chose Bubble to build this because of the scalable way it allows to integrate with the HMRC's suite of tools. And by the way, HMRC has an application process to be a developer for those tools, which I have passed, thankfully. And so what happens on the front end is that the user fills out a form, an input form on my software where they input all the shipping data and they click submit. And at the back end, an XML file is generated and sent to the HMRC, to the API. Users can also save the declarations as templates, which saves them the time to enter all this information all over and over again if you have several shipments. Now, I did have to do a fair bit of database work for this to accommodate the HMRC's requirements. These requirements involve entering alphanumeric codes into the form rather than words. For example, if you are shipping something from Dover, you can't just put Dover in the application. You have to put the code DVR, DVR, DVR. So there are hundreds of these codes for different locations and procedures. And obviously, I couldn't expect logistics people to know all of these codes, frankly. So what I had to do is that I had to comb through a lot of HMRC databases which contain these codes. And no disrespect to the HMRC, where my lovely husband works, but they have structured it in the most inaccessible way possible. So, but thankfully, I managed to do the legwork and put it all in a decent database, which I put at the back end of Bubble. Now, these days, all a user has to do is enter the word Dover, and it's replaced at the back end with the word DVR, with the alphanumeric code. So this ensures that there are no errors in the customs declaration, and all the user has to do is enter a couple of words on the basis of which an XML is generated at the backend and sent to HMRC. So here's a little demo. I hope it will play, explain why it's necessary. So this is Luke. He has to export carpets to Spain, and he's never done customs declarations since Brexit. So he has all the necessary stuff he needs, and he thought, all I have to do is just fill out a form, right? That's how it used to be before Brexit. But unfortunately, that's no longer the case. Now Luke has to contend with hundreds of codes and XML files, because the HMRC expects users to submit declarations in XML formats. So it's a form of innovation, HMRC calls it, but obviously Luke is not an expert in XML or data science. He shouldn't be expected to put all of this in to be sent to HMRC. So, and he doesn't have time to figure out either, because the shipment is due tomorrow. So to help people like Luke, I built a solution, as I described. So my second solution is for SMEs, small businesses, who have small exports from the UK, but so don't have to integrate with HMRC, but they still have to do customs declarations, even though they don't work with freight operators. So the declarations are simpler, but they take time. And so what I did is that I integrated with a lovely tool called PDF Author. Here's a lovely author. And what it does is that it allows users to just fill out a form, and a PDF is generated at the back end, and they can just download it and attach to their parcel. And they can also save templates. So I love PDF Author, and I love it so much. I even made a tutorial on it. You can scan the QR code and watch it on my YouTube. And my final solution, it's offered as both a free trial and a paid solution. So what it does is that it helps calculate customs, duties, and taxes and VAT for UK exports and imports. Here's an example. So this is the code for cheddar cheese. So if you're selling 50 boxes of cheddar cheese, this to the US, this is how much duty you have to pay when they come to the US. So $541.60. And so what this tool does is that it helps project managers of large companies who have a lot of international projects. It helps them save costs and make sure that they don't go over the budget due to unpredicted VAT expenses and all that. So I built all of that as a solo founder, a solopreneur, and let me tell you, it has not been a straightforward journey. So when you're a solo founder with no funding, you're bootstrapping everything, but you're also doing everything yourself. You're building, you're marketing, you're doing all the back office stuff like legal and finance and all that, and you have to do the sales. Plus you have 2 more jobs, in my case anyway. And I had a trade show in November, like last November, which was the same weekend as I was moving house. So I was traipsing across London with 2 giant posters, and only had £5 in my account because I spent a lot on infrastructure for the SaaS. So I don't recommend that approach. Anyway, thankfully I moved past that and scaled it a bit more to accommodate for the costs. And another challenge I would say is that I do sometimes get still imposter syndrome as a non-tech founder. I think it's quite common among female founders and people who come from non-tech backgrounds. And that's why I love NoCode and this community, because it can really help break into tech if you're from a non-tech background completely. And another challenge, I would say, that it's keeping up with everything that's happening in the Brexit space, let's call it that, because it's evolving all the time, and you have to keep up with legal stuff and the technical stuff. And so you'll be happy to know that I'm almost done. So here are a few takeaways, which I would like, and some recommendations I would make. So first of all, you have to be committed to what you're building. And good projects, they take a while if they're really good, whether you're coding or using NoCode. So you have to make sure that you have the interest and the passion that you can sustain for a long time on this project to avoid burning out. And so I would say that if you're looking to build an enterprise-level SaaS with NoCode, Bubble, or whatever, make sure that you have those resources. And the second thing I would say is that don't be afraid to ask for help. NoCode is an amazing community. Credit to all of you, really. And chances are someone in this community has dealt with a similar problem that you are dealing with. I am involved in several tech communities myself, so NoCode, but also Southwest Founders, my regional tech community, and Z Squared. And it's been really amazing to talk to people in similar situations, facing similar challenges. So I would say that don't be afraid to use every resource possible. And finally, and this might be a bit harsh, but the old chestnut, if you build it, they will come. That doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. So before you commit to building a large enterprise SaaS, make sure you actually talk to your target audiences. Chances are that some of them are not innovators, they're not early adopters, and possibly some of them may not even heard of NoCode before you mentioned it. So all they care about, frankly, not the tech features, not how many plugins you integrate with. They care about if it will solve their problem and whether they're happy to pay for it. So the truth is, if you want to find out if NoCode is the answer to what you want to build, make sure you're asking the right questions and the right people. So I would say let's wrap up here. So thank you all for coming, and thank you organizers for inviting me. And if you feel free to ask any questions and connect with me, really. Thank you. Hi.
Great presentation.
Thank you so much.
What's your distribution? How do you get these big enterprise clients?
Well, I'm listed on the HMRC directory as an authorized provider. That's one of them. And I'm also quite big on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
So that's most, and I do have to do a few events, trade shows, because not all of my clients are super innovative. So they're not as big on the online space. So they prefer like live conversations. So that's why I did a couple of trade shows. So several channels.
So is the main one that website so people are...
HMRC directory, yes. 90% of my MQLs come from HMRC.
That's the key right there.
Yes. Unfortunately.
On Google at the beginning is like really hard.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. But gov.uk, yes, done.
What is your business model?
A subscription. Okay. So monthly SaaS. So if they make like 10 declarations per month, it's one tier. And if they make more, it's second tier.
I do imports and exports, but I always work with a cargo agent, customs agent.
Oh, yeah.
Would your clients be mainly custom agents?
Some of them are. But
With this software, could I do it myself without the cargo agent, without the customs agent?
it depends how you prefer it. Everyone who works with the new system has to use software like this, whether it's a custom agent and freight forwarder, or even a trader. Some traders want to do the declarations themselves, so they are my biggest customers. But some of the freight forwarders, they work with a lot of clients like you, so I also have customers in that space. But I found that a lot of them, actual traders, they want to do it themselves.
So it's £100 every time you...
That's why I'm offering on this monthly price. So I'm offering like £300 for how many declarations, however many declarations you want to make per month.
We do 4 or 5?
Oh, yeah, that's a smaller tier, so that will be $199 per month. Mm-hmm. So if you make more than 10, it's 300, but if you make less than 10, it's 200.
Very interesting.
So just to go on to his point, so the software that you built for the HMRC,
Yep.
So the HMRC have the license, or you built that and then you sell that on effectively?
I use their plugins, the APIs, if that's what you mean. So they own part of it, but I own the design rights and the copyrights and all that, and the trademark. So HMRC is part of the bundle, HMRC software, but the rest is mine.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you have to share revenue with them?
Sorry?
Do you have to share revenue?
No. HMRC does not. No. I I pay taxes, obviously. My husband will get angry if I don't, but because he works for them.
And are you NoCode only, or do you, before you became registered as the director of the government, do you do other languages, or is it NoCode and you jumped into that?
See, I've never learned code myself, but I did have to do a bit of JavaScript, only for authentication with HMRC, because that's how the portal is set up. Otherwise, they don't allow no-code authentication. So, JS was the one. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
No more questions?
Of course.